Hello everyone, once again welcome to the build series for the Grizzly Peaks National Park, a collaborative project by myself, Solaris, and the incomparable Booter. Today we are finally working on our gift shop. Yay, gift shop. So the visitor center building that Booter had put together, like I said, was an enormous space, not too big, but a pretty great size space to be filled with a bunch of different things that we could use and to fill up so that there's kind of like this warm, welcoming environment for anyone that comes into the area wanting to be in, just basically wanting to get some information about Grizzly Peaks, a gathering place, if you will. So one of the cool things that we're going to do now, we are actually going to be making a desk. I wanted to create, taking a lot of influence actually from the Contemporary Resorts Fantasia's gift shop. If anyone's been there, you know that gift shop is, in the middle of a huge floor with the cafeteria, and it's a pretty interesting space for a gift shop, and I kind of wanted to replicate that. And we'll get into how I created partitions and separated that from the common space, but I really just wanted to create a small miniature version of that Fantasia gift shop. So you'll see I'm kind of looking at different types of wood that I can use just to, again, stick with the rustic wood forest theme in itself. I use beams, as you can probably tell by now, very religiously. It's just a great way to give you an outline, so to speak, for any of the really cool things that you're wanting to accomplish with any creation you're doing, ranging from, just floor plans, building structures, desk, anything that you can think of when it comes to a building or any type of scenery object. I use beams to try to outline it so I get a better understanding of just height perspective, and also with just area spacing, just to kind of see like, okay, this is, how much space this little, particular thing is going to take up. So we want to make sure that we're abiding by the realism rules and still obviously having things in proportion to the surrounding area. So in this matter, always use that Archer animatronic for a great scaling effect for a guest. I just want to look to see, like, if I was coming out to a desk at a gift shop to purchase something, where would the top of the desk lie at in comparison to how or what height it's at for the employees behind the counter. So, there's a bunch of different, variables you want to take into account when creating something, a realistic counter or a desk, so to speak, for a gift shop area. So just be sure you use all of the tools that you possibly can together and just, take your time. There's no rush with this at all. Just take your time with it. And the more time I think you spend on it, it just shows that you care about those little minor, small details. So with this, after we do the front part of it, I wanted to kind of have a dip down into the main desk area. So with that, I actually created a sort of dip in there so that the counter that the employees use sits lower than the front of the counter that the guests see. Just again to also hide and contribute to hiding the computers and the printers or the cash registers or whatever it may be that's on this counter. It's just kind of like an out of sight, out of mind context. You'll also see that we're going to put some bookshelves in those cubby holes as well underneath the counter, just to kind of add more to the realism of what would be behind the counter for the gift shop space. Another really cool thing I always like to try to do, or what we're going to do in this video, I'm not going to bore you all with the minute details of what exactly is in the gift shop or anything like that, but I do want to get a pretty solid layout of what I am wanting to do here with this. So just be sure that, you kind of size everything appropriately, or else you're going to be like, oh gosh, I don't have the space for, this desk, I don't have space for a table or a bookshelf or anything like that. Really, again, a great thing that Booter did when creating this building is he gave me a lot of space to work with to fill the interior up in a way that doesn't seem so crowded, but it still isn't just completely dead space that just has no purpose there whatsoever. Everything in here flows with a purpose. So as you see, I just used those book panels to create those shelves for underneath the guest service desk. On the top side of it, as we're going to use for the actual, the back side of the shelf, the color panels. Again, they have a really great reflective look to them, which really isn't much of a necessity when you're creating obviously the back of a bookshelf, but it just kind of adds to the overall aesthetics that I'm trying to achieve with the visitor center's look in general. So, well, you don't have to use those color panels. You can use whichever you would like to. I'm going to use some TMTK desk items to create that actual counter look, and that way we can get an idea of how tall this counter is going to be, how far out it's going to stick out on the employee side to cover up those bookshelves. And you'll also see I just kind of layered it up just to cover up that, blank space between the top of the bookshelves and that. So there we go. We have a full service desk counter. Whichever order you want to use those words in. I'm just doing some, little small details just to kind of help with the overall appearance of it all. Adding in sockets. I don't believe that anybody has made United States sockets. These are actually sockets found in the UK, but it serves its purpose. Adding in cash registers, kind of debating about, I don't want the big register. We're going to go with the small register. I like the way those look. They're just very, very modern. At first, I was going to see if I could somehow, some way keep it to where the total and the card reader was on the guest side, but there was no way I was, going to be able to finagle that out. Put in a computer just so that the employees could have something to look up, if they need to, see if they have something online, ordering something, fulfilling an online order, whatever may have you. Again, this is all theoretically speaking. None of this works in game, but it's really, really cool when you're trying to utilize realism to the finest extent. A couple of gift shop bags are really great to give you an idea that this is a gift shop area. This is not just going to be some random desk. After this, we're going to start working on the flooring. I used a different type of wood flooring, similar to what I used above the service desk over on the other side of the visitor center, but yet still different enough that there's some variance there and it's not overly repetitive. I just wanted to put this floor here to really offset the gift shop itself. It kind of acts as like an invisible, cutout of where the guest service area is going to be at versus where, everything is at in terms of the sitting area, the exhibition wall, the service desk, wherever it can be. This will actually give me an insight into laying out. This is where the guest service area is going to be, and I think this is a really good tool to use. The wood look also just kind of ties into, again, the overall modern, but still somewhat forest rustic look for what I'm going to go for. So with the wood floors, obviously because the visitor center is definitely built in a weird angle, just for kind of what we were trying to achieve here, you do have to kind of overlap a little bit of the floor tiles. Normally that is like one of my biggest cardinal sins, but I'll let that slide this time around. It's kind of necessary. And in case you don't know, a really cool trick though, whenever you're having to overlap items, sometimes the game does glitch or it has a clipping effect to it. All you have to do is just make sure that second overlapping piece, you place it slightly above or below the piece you're trying to, line it up with, and then once you place it, sync it down a little bit to match up with your other piece, and then that way it gets rid of the clipping effect. Just a small little graphic thing with the game. Hopefully that's fixed in Planet Coaster 2 because I love my overlapping things. But just a little small tidbit of just trying to make sure that you kind of utilize the full ability of what this game can really do. I know there's a lot of secrets and tidbits that a lot of amazing YouTube creators out there have kind of came across. I know Silverette is an amazing influence in terms of just trying to figure out what this game can really do. I know Yura he's done an amazing job. His work is mind-boggling, and I've seen a lot of other individuals out there who do it just in a fantastic job. What you're going to see here is my indecisiveness of what bookshelf or shelving unit I wanted to use to create this kind of boundary to separate this gift shop from the actual main floor. So It is almost, it's a little bit of a waste. I was actually going to edit this out, but I just wanted to keep this in there so everyone knows that I also go through moments where it's like, is this going to be what I'm looking for? Would it be beneficial to display stuff on the other side, or would it be beneficial to display stuff just on the one side? Is that bookshelf going to be big enough? You know, all kinds of stuff. So in the meantime, let me put some posters here. Let me not ignore the bookshelves and let me just add some posters. I started trying to look at, okay, I want small potted foliage plants that can, you know, make this area, again, tie in with the overall forest and alpine theme that we're going for here, but yet at the same time, not overtake the area with plants. I just, again, was just trying to play around with some different ideas of this is going to work, this isn't going to work. And yeah, eventually it all does get, you know, tossed just because I wasn't 100% liking it. But I did actually stick with this bookshelf. This bookshelf really is what I stick with, and I get rid of that double-sided shelf. The bookshelf I have, the brown one, the big brown one right there, is called the Mahogany Bookcase. It is by a creator named Pixelated, and it's available on the Steam Workshop. With the gift shop at the Contemporary Resort in Disney World in Florida, they use their display shelves as kind of like a holder for a video or poster on the opposite side. And I'm like, that would be really cool. And then later on, we'll add in some, you know, mountain pictures or, you know, some type of, I guess you can say, aesthetic to where it won't look so out of place just having a big bookshelf in the middle of the whole visitor center. But I think it really actually worked out in my favor. So yeah, this bookshelf worked really great. I was going to continue to go around, but I was like, you know what? I think that's going to overdo it. So I only went with the 3 bookshelves in the end, but I think they really, really worked just tremendously. Deciding what kind of tables I want to use, obviously in gift shops or any shop for that matter at amusement parks, you get larger tables to accommodate a lot of your product. I didn't know 100% what tables I wanted to put where, so we just kind of placed them sporadically throughout. This is kind of an open floor plan for this building, so I was very limited to being able to really, really give you that closed building interior look to the gift shop. But that's okay. I'm all for working outside of my bubble a little bit, and that's what this whole project was for, was working outside of my bubble. So it worked out really, really good. So for the checkout line, as that is what that's going to be, the cash out or express line, as they want to call it, however you wish to name it, I added a little barrier in there, which is also TMTK item, to create a division between one side of the desk and the other side of the desk for checking out. So there's 2 lanes to check out. And yeah, the gift area, once all that was pretty much put into place, I mean, it was pretty easy going. I am not going to bore you 100% with, like I said, item placement. It really wasn't about, this video was not about me placing, you know, 500 different items, I guess you can say, just to accommodate all this, you know, space we have. You will see that I am creating like different areas. Like I want to have shirts and stuff for keepsakes, so we added a shirt rack over there, and that entire wall over there actually is going to be an entire shirt wall of the different vendors and brands that Planet Coaster has. All the shirts are, it's just, you know, they're all incredible creations on the Steam Workshop. I'll post the link to those below. I think there's a whole collection of them, so you don't have to worry about just having to download a bunch of different, you know, ones or go looking for a bunch of different ones. It's a whole set that I'll post a link of that in the description below. But yeah, after that, we have pretty much the primary basis of our gift shop area, and that was the point of this video. So yeah, I'm not gonna like I said, bore you all with putting in the details, but I will show you a small cinematic video of what it looks like completely finished. And our next video that we're going to be working on, or that we're going to show you, is actually going to be Booter. He is going to be creating the Cliffside Cafe, which is going to be our take on a small cafe area that's going to be able to serve not only just like coffee and beverages and stuff like that, but it's also going to have food in it as well. It will be a different take on it's just a different take on like a Starbucks or like a Panera Bread, you know. So it's going to be a really, really cool take on it. There will not be any voice over with that particular video. However, it's going to just be a time-lapse video just because there's so much in there, and there's just no way I could break down everything in once like that. So yeah, definitely tune in next week for that video. And if you have any comments or questions or suggestions even, please make sure that you put that in the comment section below of this video. And as always, I appreciate you all for stopping in and checking out the Grizzly Peaks National Park build series by myself and Booter. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. If not, that's okay too. We still love having you around, and we still love having you as our guest. So I think from here on out, it's that time. Solaris out.